Now on CoastTV News.
Speeding and safety.
We do have a problem in town.
What Milton is considering to curb bad driver behavior.
Tariffs hit home.
I think it could have a big impact.
From kitchen counters to new construction, what else stores fear will go up?
Stillwater Harbor denied. The Oak Orchard development shot down by a court.
This is CoastTV News at 6.
This part of Oak Orchard will stay undeveloped for now. The state's highest court made it final. Good evening. I'm Madeline Overturf.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. Welcome to our News at 6. We begin tonight with Stillwater Harbor officially scrapped after a long legal fight. On your screen now is River Road, where developers wanted to build 120 homes.
You can see it water pooling across the land, and it's one of the reasons why Sussex County Planning and Zoning rejected the project back in June 2023. Developers appealed that denial in October, but tonight the legal back and forth is over, with the Supreme Court upholding the denial. Coast TV News reporter and anchor Christina D. Robertus in the newsroom with more. Christina, the proposal also created controversy because the location consists of Native American land.
Yes, and one member of the Nanacoke Indian tribe who we spoke with today says he's really pleased with the Supreme Court's decision, saying it's a matter of not only Native American history, but nature preservation and the overall future for Sussex County. These 57 acres off River Road in Oak Orchard hold deep meaning for Charles Clark IV, a member of the Nanacoke Indian tribe.
We live in a very sensitive area here. The land we're speaking of, which is adjoining my family's lands, it's some of the last acreage of any mention that's still wooded.
And he's happy with the Supreme Court's decision to uphold the denial of Stillwater Harbor's proposed 120-home development.
I'm very happy, very pleased that the system worked.
In a statement, the developers said they are disappointed by the Supreme Court ruling, but are now reviewing their options. Clark says this one case points to wider concerns about growth in Sussex County.
Overdevelopment in Sussex County is destroying its nature, and it's also taxing the state's ability to provide the services that it must.
For now, a years-long debate over this land coming to a close. And it is important to note the land there in Oak Orchard is owned by developers, so there is a possibility that developers could propose something different in the future. Back to you guys.
When developers appealed the planning and zoning denial in June 2023, they said they felt the denial was based on concerns that weren't spelled out in Delaware state code. This brings us to our Coast TV poll. We want to know who should have the final say on these projects.
Let's take a look at the updated results from last news hour. Take a look at your screen. Landowners still with 70%, though neighbors at 17%. Elected officials at 9%, and courts at 4%.
If you haven't voted yet, it's easy to do. Go to coasttv.com, or you can use your mobile app, and we will show you updated results on Coast TV News at 11.
Let's go ahead and take a live look outside into Ocean City as our first alert chief meteorologist Paul Williams has been tracking a rainy forecast.
It's staying rainy over and over again. In fact, we're going to stay with the overcast underlying motif for the rest of the night, going into a good portion of the weekend as well. Right now in Ocean City, 48 degrees, dew point of 47. So air temperature, dew point temperature real close to one another. So look for the hovering moisture to continue. Temperatures will stay in the upper 40s for the most part for the rest of the night, because that cloud cover acts like a blanket and keeps us warm throughout the night. And we'll have scattered showers. That's going to be a part of the mantra as well. Generally speaking, we're looking at about a half an inch of rain, a little bit more thus far, but we're going to continue to accumulate and track it through the night. We've had nearly just over or close to a half-inch rain in places like Dover, Seaford, Delmar, Slaughter Beach, Dagsboro, Lewis, and it's been that same general feel throughout the entire Delmarva Peninsula. This is the latest look at the rain. Nothing's looking all that intense as far as embedded thunderstorms are concerned. But overall, if I widen the scope here a little bit, we have a small little touch that's trying to develop just to our south right now. It's swinging up in our direction, but it's breaking up as it approaches us. So I don't see as a great opportunity for anything turning severe. Anything's possible, but it's looking more and more like this low pressure system, which is a steering mechanism. Well, that's going to drive itself more out into deeper waters throughout the Atlantic. But is it going to stop the misery? No. The inconvenience? No. But at least severe storms we're not concerned with. Here's your checklist for tonight. Rain boots. That's something I put up there new just for you. And then umbrella, warm beverage, and I'm going to say a little extra time in driving because there's a lot of puddles on the road.
Totally, Paul. Thank you. Well, over the past week, we've spoken with people who sell everything from coffee, appliances, furniture, even video games, all feeling at least some impact from newly imposed tariffs. Now, a new home improvement project could take a sledgehammer to your savings. Milton Countertops says a lot of the quality stones that make up their counters are naturally made in Brazil, Italy, other places overseas, and even the tools they use, those often come from China.
I think it could have a big impact. So the reason it is because if the contractor's prices are high, then of course they have to pass it on to the customers. And so there's no way not to pass it on, because it's just a huge expense.
We spoke with several lumber companies who say their lumber won't be hurt as much as their steel beams and metals from China.
Moving to Worcester County, unusually large items are being dumped alongside the road. Things like beach chairs. Lately, the roadside trash problem has gotten a lot bigger, literally.
The biggest is a boat. So that was our biggest one. But yeah, fridges, washers, dryers, sofas, recliners, mattresses, large tires, small tires.
A boat. They ask if you see something, please say something. The Public Works wants to clear off large debris as quickly as possible.
Speeding in Milton, that's been a concern many locals have expressed. It even sparked a website, if you remember that story. And it's a challenge for the Streets and Sidewalk Committee that they're trying to fix. CoastTV reporter Zakia Jennings shows us different options to combat what people say is a speeding problem in town.
Portable radar signs in Milton. It's one of the possible speed safety measures up for discussion at the upcoming Streets and Sidewalks Committee meeting on Monday. John Knapp is fine with this idea, but isn't a fan of any other forms of surveillance.
I can see putting up one of those signs that lets you know what your speed is, and it flashes when you're going too fast. But I'm totally against any kind of cameras taking your information and handing out tickets, especially in a small town or anything like that.
On top of radar signs, the committee is considering improvements to the roads and talking about DelDOT's electronic speed safety program. According to DelDOT, the program would provide automated speed enforcement in work zones or residential areas. For a violation to occur, a driver must exceed the posted speed limit by 11 miles per hour or more. These attempts to curb speeding in the town is something Bill Pritchett finds interesting.
We have a problem in town from time to time, with people exceeding the speed limit, but these sound like good ideas that are worth pursuing.
The meeting will be held here at the Cannery Village on Monday at 6 p.m. In Milton, Zakia Jennings, Coast TV News.
Staying in Milton, new tonight, the theater has decided to move Zombie Fest to Hudson Fields. This comes after the theater scaled back Pride Fest, and we're learning more about why. Here at the field, you can see it on your screen now, the theater says they asked the town of Milton for an invoice up front for the events while planning, but did not get one. Brittingham says it would have been, quote, irresponsible to hold the events like normal without knowing the costs, and despite the changes that they are committed to keeping these beloved events.
It was very important this year for us to do Pride. It wasn't an option for us not to do Pride. It's also not an option for us to not do Zombie Fest. It's one of the things that this town, this community, this county looks forward to every year. The community wants these events to happen, and it wasn't something that we were willing to give up.
We'll have much more on this, including what the town and local businesses are saying. That's at 11.
Also in Milton, construction on the overpass continues. On your screen now is the area affected. Starting April 21st, the fourth phase of work begins. All of it supposed to be done this fall. And we have the full list of the changes. If you drive through it, you're going to want to read this. It's at coasttv.com.
And street work is moving along in Milford. Milling is finished on North Washington Street with paving set for April 16th through the 18th. Church Street milling, that's going to take place April 14th, and paving for South Church and Maple scheduled for April 21st. Sewer work continues on South Washington, and water service transfers to the new system. Those begin next week.
To Cambridge now, eyes in the skies for police as they launch a new program to help with enforcement. Officers will now fly drones to be prepared for any situation. 5 officers have been certified to fly 2 drones, 1 outdoors.
So there's things like canine apprehensions, fleeing suspects, large crowds, things for dirt bikes. You know, we have issues with dirt bikes in our city. We're gonna make that a big issue.
And in the event of a barricade situation, listen to this, an indoor drone can use infrared technology. Police say it can cut through glass, make its way into a residence, and also map out a home.
And new tonight, the Indian River School District will hold its second current expense referendum. That's going to be on June 5th. They're asking voters to approve $22.5 million in additional funding to cover rising operating costs and maintain competitive salaries for staff. The March 20 referendum was shot down. And to learn more about the first referendum and the upcoming one, you can just check out CoastTV.com.
And we have a lot more news to get to this evening.
The Cape Henlopen School District Superintendent retiring when he'll step down.
We are expecting relentless rainfall on the roads for the rest of the night.
First, a visitor center at the Friends of Prime Hook National Wildlife Refuge in Milton. We'll take you there when we're back in just 60 seconds.
This is Coast TV News at 6.
You're taking a look at the new visitor center at the Friends of Prime Hook National Wildlife Refuge in Milton. Beautiful there. Today is the first day people were allowed inside of the building.
However, there is still work to be done. Board President Bill Pritchett says the building should be complete in a few months.
We have a wonderful new store inside called Hooked on Nature, so I think that our visitors are going to enjoy, going visiting the store. We'll have more displays inside the lobby here.
The refuge manager told Coast TV their grand opening will take place likely sometime this fall.
Here's a look at your golf forecast for tomorrow. Listen, we're expected to stay very cloudy tomorrow. Early morning tee off. We're going to watch out for a little bit of rain by then. Gray, damp, spotty showers, drizzle, particularly in the morning time. High of only 45 degrees. I know it's been a bit of a rainy, dreary, and drizzly kind of day, but cheer up, my friend. Remember, it is Friday. It's still the weekend, although it's going to be a cloudy, rainy, gray weekend, but it's still the weekend. All right, so our Hershey's exterior camera, Ocean City, 48 degrees, winds at about 17 miles per hour. It's a little blustery, and that cutting cold feel is still abundant throughout the region. We'll stay at about 48 in Ocean City, mostly cloudy skies. Hit and miss spot showers will continue to be the case. Right now, the rain is moving from the south to the north, moving at about 15 to 20 miles per hour. We have an isolated cell just near Crossroads, but other than that, we're looking at moderate to light showers. Same manifesting right now throughout Campbell, north of Berlin right now, headed towards Selbyville, Fenwick Island, also picking up several waves of rain that's pushing through. Now, we're looking at some more heavier showers that's making its way south of Salisbury and over towards Cambridge. We're starting to see some more steady showers, but nothing that is severe or that we have to super hyper focus on at this point. Low pressure system is the steering mechanism of the storm, and it's driving its way straight out towards the water. So that's going to carry all of its influence on the backside of this thing right along with it, and that's going to decrease our chances of intense cells. Extended rain, well, now that's hanging around, to be honest. We're at 47 degrees in several locations, with the exception being Ocean City, Ocean Pines, and Bethany Beach at 48 degrees this hour. The winds currently picking up momentum out of the northeast at about 38 mile per hour winds in Indian River Inlet, 30 mile per hour winds for us, Bethany Beach and Rehoboth Beach, along with Ocean City. So it's still a bit on the breezy side. It's just a raw day that's getting more raw and uncomfortable, you know. So, small craft advisory is in effect, and that's what happens when we have those winds moving at about 30 mile per hour gusts. So that bodes true to the advisory we have, and that's going to be a concern for us until, let's say, Saturday evening. And that holds true also for the folks in Cambridge until at least 6 o'clock in the evening for Saturday. But overnight, we'll drop into the 40s. We'll have showers, winds at about 18 miles per hour, gusts up to about 35. Rain chances are elevated for Friday. They decrease dramatically for the rest of the week, maybe going up a bit for us on Tuesday. But for the most part, after this push of rain, most of it should be out of the way. Saturday, we're going to see scattered showers that are going to kick in for us until about noon on Saturday, and then the winds are going to stay pretty active for us as well out of the north. But you see how they turn for us coming out of the northwest eventually? But Sunday, things clear out. Once again, hit and miss spot showers continue for Saturday, and then things turn for us going into Sunday. And the amount of rain we're looking for ranging between 1/4 of an inch to about 3/4 of an inch of rain. And this is that low pressure system that's going to swirl our way as it pulls out to sea deeper. It'll change the trajectory of the winds, moving more zonal out of the west. Drizzle in abundance for Saturday with that low pressure system out in the deep waters, but it'll pull out of the way. So we're looking for lower temperatures on Saturday, cloudier and higher temperatures on Sunday. Temperatures will elevate to 70 on Monday, 65 Tuesday, 57 on Wednesday. But then that last wave of rain will pull out of the way and we'll get a break. So summary, 41 for tonight. Ending rain, sprinkles for the morning time for Saturday. Then on Sunday, a peak of sunshine before the day is done. Here's a look at your extended forecast.
Thank you, Paul. After 40 years in the fire service, Fire Chief Richard Bowers is retiring today. With that being said, Joshua J. Bunting III has been appointed new fire chief, and Joseph E. Saxauer is acting fire marshal.
From Ocean City up to Lewis, where there's another retirement announcement, the Cape Henlopen School District. Superintendent Bob Fulton says he's stepping down. Fulton has worked in education for 34 years, with the last 13 as superintendent. His retirement is effective July 1st.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
We're just over 2 weeks away from a new season of our ongoing docu-series Into the Trenches. This season, we're heading to the home of the Cape Henlopen Vikings as they embark on a new voyage into their 2024-25 football season. Let's take a sneak peek.
The 6-seed Vikings made it all the way to the state final game for the first time since 1984.
The late run last season and then trying to explain that we're a different team.
You got to work harder because you went to the state chip, because there's a target on your head.
I was looking to be a head coach again, but certainly didn't think this would be the move we would make.
I realized how much I didn't know about coaching when he joined here.
Understanding the stresses that these kids are under is a little bit unique for me.
The expectations are high.
We're really pushing them to be excellent.
You're going to practice the way you play.
The pain is either going to be the work you put in to win the game on Friday, or it's going to be the pain of losing.
It's tough. It's a challenge to take on. It's fun too.
We can push even further this year and hopefully make a run for it again.
Into the Trenches, a new voyage. April 24th at 7:30 on the Delmarva Sports Network and DSN+. Sponsored by Preston Automotive.
That'll do it for sports. Have a great night, everyone.
Our Irish Eyes camera highlighting just how gray we will continue to stay throughout the rest of the evening hours. In Lewis, we're holding at 47 degrees. The wind's still picking up a little bit of momentum at about 12 miles per hour, so that makes it a bit of a blustery situation for us. Now look for the temperature to stay in the upper 40s for the rest of the evening. We'll see hit and miss spot showers kind of filtering its way throughout all the Delmarva Peninsula, really for the rest of the evening. And we'll track things in case there's a little nasty embedded thunderstorm to try to pop up, but we won't let it surprise you. We'll keep you updated here. Barbara Harding, you're our winner of our umbrella. Congratulations from Georgetown. If you want to keep up with your forecast by calling our weather line, it's ready for you. Sponsored by the law offices of Bruckstedt, Mandalis, and Federico. And finally, here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast.
All right, Paul, thank you, and thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 6.
For more news, more local weather, download our Coast TV News app.
The NBC Nightly News is up next.
And we're going to see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 11. Have a great evening.